this is not your typical Syrian here, or Izzy. And today, I don't know where to move my head. Today I'm going to be making a video on reading Dolores Cannon's chart. So let's begin. Let me share my screen with you. I'm going to share that. Hey, there we are, right here. If you hear like anything in the background, like cars or people working outside, that's my neighbors and the people around me. I live in a city, so we're on one of the busiest roads in a small town. So let's get started with Dolores Cannon's reading. First of all, I want to show you what she looks like. This is her. That's her daughter. That's her. If you didn't know, she actually passed away in, what was it, 2016? No, 2014, due to just straight up illness. But, oh, I want to see that later. But that's her. And she is, that's not her. And she is a healing hypnotherapist. She created the QHHT technique, which is quantum healing hypnotherapy. So I'm going to read her chart. I'm getting a ringing in my ear. Hi, Dolores. I hope you enjoy this reading. I'm going to be reading her birth chart, and I'm going to be explaining to you how it shaped her life. Basically, I have two different systems. But what I was going to say about her was she has the QHHT technique, where she takes people under hypnosis to their past lives to heal anything like beliefs or even literal health problems like an upset stomach, things like that. She'll take them into hypnosis, and her technique has been really famous now within the spiritual community. She's a very, very amazing person and well recognized in the spiritual community. I look up to her a lot because we have the same exact Jupiter placement, and it makes sense because Jupiter is like spirituality and like optimism. And then Dolores is like, I feel like I'm one and the same with her when it comes to that. So let's get started with the reading. Again, loud cars and trucks. I want to read now, so I'm going to do it, and I feel like she would want it too. So let's get started. So Dolores was born April 15th, 1931. That's pretty straightforward. Oh my God, on a Wednesday. Today's a Wednesday. Mercury day. Hey. If you didn't know, she was born on a Wednesday, which one of the things I always do when I upload these. It's been a month. Days of the week. Zodiac. Yes, zodiac signs. Days of the week. Or planets, whatever. Wednesday is Mercury, because in Spanish we call it miércoles. So it's like Mercury, Wednesday. And Mercury is about the mind constantly running, dealing with hypnosis, controlling the mind. Okay, adaptable, elegant, intelligence, what this says. For positive traits, so again, when you use your mind, you can be super creative and stuff. And when it's negative, you're just kind of fake and you are always thinking too much. But what I meant to look up was the gods and goddesses. That's not right. Don't trust Tumblr. Okay, days of the week. I forget what I used to look up all the time for this. I genuinely do. Let me actually look up Google and do this. Days of the week. What was that? Planets, or gods and goddesses. And I go to Google Images, and we get, there we go. Mercury, Hermes, and we also get, I'm sorry with this video. Woden. Yeah, that's German. Woden. And Mercury, the god itself, and Hermes. So yeah, Hermes is like the messenger god. And Dolores always says, "Don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger." And she was born on a Wednesday. So it makes complete sense for her. We're all born on days of the week. Look yours up, by the way. You can also do that. But yeah, she's born at 2 p.m. So this is what her chart looks like. And that makes her a 0 degree Virgo rising. Now, if you don't know, the 0 degrees are very critical, actually. So with her degree, let me show you just a second. So with her to have that degree, 0 degree, 0 is like the beginning, right? You're starting over. And 0 degrees in astrology, if you don't know, means that the person takes on the complete characteristics of that sign. Because if you didn't know, the zodiac signs rule the 29 degrees, okay? And because there's 12 signs, they can be divided pretty much equally, except for like 5 of them. There's like 5 that have 3. And it starts at Aries, ends at Pisces, and then goes back. But the 0 degrees isn't occupied by any of them. It's just its own. So, for example, Virgo is the 6th degree. Okay, it's the 6th degree. I'm going to pull up one of my charts I made, but I'm afraid I'll have to log in, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pull up something I've had from Microsoft Word really quickly for you guys. It is the degree theory chart. I usually would have it in front of me, but then I can show you guys what I'm doing. So hold on, I'm going to show you the degree chart I have, and I'm going to scroll through it, and you're going to see it as well. Okay, so let me pull it up really fastly, just so you can see it. And it's loading. I'm going to do a new share, and you guys are going to see this screen. Okay, hey, so this is the degree theory. Now, the 0 degree, as I said here, I'm going to highlight this part for you. I'm going to use a spotlight because it's better. The 0 degree of each zodiac sign possesses the pure traits because, right, it's just 0. But then you see Aries right here, and it's got 1, 13, and 25, right? And then you see Taurus, and it kind of repeats that. And then all the way to Leo, which has the 3. And then you notice Virgo just has 2, and the rest just have 2. Because it goes through all of them. See how that says Capricorn's the 10th sign, it's the 10th degree. And then Pisces is the 12th, and it goes back again through all of them, and it's again the 24th. But then when it goes back to Aries, it's 25, and then 26, 27, 28, and then 29, because there's only 29 degrees in astrology. Anyway, my point is, she has a 0 degree rising, which means it takes the pure characteristics of the sign it's in. And if we go back to her chart, so let me see, you will notice that it is in 0 degrees Virgo. So it takes on the complete characteristics of Virgo. So then you go to you go back here and you find Virgo, and you'll see that Virgo, all the traits of Virgo right here. Okay, so what we got here about her chart: hardworking, because rising is the appearance. Okay, she's hardworking. She's very much the very epitome of a Virgo because the energy is double, right? You're not just a Virgo with, like, let's say a 7 degree rising, because that would mean you have Libra energy too. But she's a Virgo rising with the 0 degree rising, which means she has both energies. Anyway, she's also, when she just looks like she could really analyze you. She's very associated with health. You can tell that she's very mature because Virgo, again, is, you know, things like that. She just reminds you of a Virgo, someone who likes things simple, someone who likes things organized, things like that. Someone who's very good at analyzing as well, like I mentioned, someone who seems to be very pure with their intentions. Again, very Virgo, very smart. She comes across as smart because what does Virgo rule? Mercury. And because Virgo rules Mercury, that is her chart ruler. So what do I mean by chart ruler? So the chart ruler is the zodiac sign of the rising. And whatever that sign is, whatever planet it rules is the chart ruler. So because her rising is 0 degrees Virgo, can I talk? Because her rising is 0 degrees Virgo, she would have to look for, or should I say, we would have to look for Mercury because she's not in the physical. And her Mercury is at 12 degrees Taurus, and that is what is the main energy in her chart. It's the ruler of her chart. So Mercury is the mind again, and she's born on a Wednesday. Does that really mean? Wow. Wow. Okay. So she has her Mercury at 12 degrees Taurus. Now let's think about Mercury and Taurus. Mercury and Taurus. So Mercury is about communication, going all over the place, you know, her channeling spiritually because it's in the 9th house, right? I'll talk more about this as I get to each part of the chart so I can organize the timestamps. But her Mercury, right? It's the chart ruler. In Taurus, which is kind of, it's about relaxing, right? Taurus is also, if we check the characteristics again, we check them again, we can see that Taurus also is about nature and about, you know, just like Virgo, like Taurus, like things. Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? So as we see the mind and nature controlling. Okay, to grow, to raise. Yes, she was trying to help people grow spiritually because we also have it as the 12th degree. And if you want to know something special about that, the 12th degree is not only just a normal degree from Pisces, so it's also very Neptunian, you know, because Pisces rules Neptune, and Neptune is like, I'll get to that. But it's a lot, the 12th degree is a lot, but it's also a very special degree. So if you have 12 degrees, the 12th degree, anywhere, it's your buried treasure, enormous wealth. So her way of communicating through others, again, Taurus is about the self versus, and possessions of the self versus Scorpio, which is about the possessions of other people. So with Taurus Mercury at 12 degrees, she got her way to fame through her communication, through other people, through people relaxing the mind, through the mind, right? Because hypnosis is like relaxing, because Taurus is lazy, and Taurus is also like the couch, right? So when you lay down and you have a 12th degree influence, which is Piscean, which is Neptune-like, which is about calming the mind, right? Because Neptune just wants to chill out, right? It wants to chill. So if you chill out the mind, you get the success through there in the 9th house of spirituality and higher knowledge. Can I get a name in? Okay, so I'm going to keep going with this chart so you can see what I'm talking about. We also see that Dolores has Neptune conjunct the rising. Let me talk more about her rising a little bit. So Virgo rising, right? Let me get some more basic characteristics. Virgo itself is very basic. So when you look at her, you know, she kind of looks very humble, very basic, like, yeah, I'm a very wise woman, but I'm very practical. She's a very practical woman. I'm going to look up some more traits for you guys so I can base them. Okay. So she's going to maybe be critical a little bit, kind of worried, skeptical. She might be like questioning things, which is her nature in a way. But you'll see that she likes to find the facts. She does her research. I look up Virgo Rising. Virgo Rising. That makes more sense in the situation. They act like they're put together even when they're not. They're truthful, kind, beautiful, rich. Yes, searching for more knowledge. Did you know that in one of her videos, she actually said that, I love this too. She actually said if she were to go to heaven, right, it would be boring for her to sit on a cloud. She would want to be reading books in a place full of knowledge. So it comes right across. Often difficult to understand. Often difficult to understand. I was just looking at my phone. I shouldn't be. I'm looking at this stuff because actually looking at the traits can be helpful, even as an astrologer, just like, okay, she's okay. Got it. Okay, so if you notice, Virgo, right, likes to be of service, helping people. And then, guys, guess what? I don't know which one will be better. This one looks cooler. So then we also have in her chart Neptune conjunct the ascendant. See how close it is? See where it says ASC? And then, sorry, I forgot to zoom in. And then there's this weird thing with the arrows. It looks like Neptune's tried it. Neptune. Okay. Oh, my Neptune. So what's that mean? Well, that's probably going to be one of her first things. Let me see if I got that. Neptune conjunct ascendant. Yep, see? Right here. So what's that mean? Well, Neptune conjunct ascendant, it means that the person comes across as very spiritual. Neptune is the planet of spirituality, the planet of, that's my sister, sorry guys. Neptune is the planet of spirituality, the planet of escape, the planet of relaxation. Let me look up some more Neptune traits so I can tell you. Can I even spell today? Neptune traits, astrology. Yes. So Neptune is our inspiration, it's our dreams, it's illusions, it's intuition. Yes. And also, if you didn't know, Virgo can come across as a very intuitive sign. That's her rising. And then we have Neptune on top of that. It's like, no wonder this woman is in the spiritual community, because she comes across as very spiritual. Despite her Neptune, if you notice that tiny little R right here, if you notice it, it's retrograde. So what does that mean? It means that she, there is retrograde at 3 degrees Virgo. And 3 degrees is also ruled by Gemini. So let's go back into that. 3 degrees is also ruled by Gemini because it's the third sign. So what does that even mean? Well, it's about communication, right? It's Mercury. It's about a double. It could be twins, you know, but it's language. It's a spiritual language, right? So she speaks spiritually. She educates people spiritually through her own leadership. And because it's in the first house, if you notice, Aries is the first sign, so it's a natural ruler. Rules leadership, right? It's a leader. To be the leader, to be the first in spirituality, to come across hypnotherapy. And because it's retrograde, it doesn't mean she's a terrible person or a terrible spiritual person. It means she literally took her time to get to spirituality. And we actually found this out because Dolores actually talked about her husband being in the military, her kids growing up. So her husband was like a hypnotist, and he accidentally found somebody's past life in like the 50s or so, you know, whenever it was like really taboo to do this stuff. And she had kids, of course, and he was in the army. He was like a disabled veteran. So for the longest time, she couldn't pursue this spirituality. So that's why it's retrograde, because she had to focus on her own things. And to focus on herself, that's when her spirituality came out. And when she it just took time. It took time, right? That's why it's retrograde. Retrogrades never mean things are bad. It just means things have to be slowed down, and you have to take your time with the planets they're associated with, especially with Mercury. Oh my gosh, which I don't even think hers is retrograde. It's not. Okay. But yeah, Mercury conjunct the ascendant makes her look very dreamy. It makes her look like she's always in a trance. It can also mean she's very, like I said, it makes her very intuitive. It makes her look like she's wise beyond her years. When I look at her, I see a very wise woman. She has all the answers. You know what I mean? I know she doesn't have all the answers, but when you look at her, you think, wow, you have pretty much everything I'm looking for. Like, I could ask you anything. You're like a wise elder. I love you. You know, you have it. That's what I see when I look at her. And with Pisces and Virgo, if you didn't know, they're also opposites. So she's a very balanced out person as well. I really love this so far. I love figuring out more. So again, with that first house, I'm going to show you how I see that as the first. So you're probably like, Izzy, you're just blah, blah, blah. I'm channeling, guys. She's helping me channel. See, that's one. That's the first house. The first house is the house of leadership. We have Neptune there. Spiritual community in Virgo, the sign of being of service to others in the spiritual community as a guru, and it taking her a long time. Let's move on to her second house. Her second house is, let me see. Her second house is also in Virgo, and I can also check down here as well. Yeah, that's my neighbors. They're outside. I apologize. It's at 23 degrees Virgo. This is where I'm getting this from, okay? This is so amazing. So 23 degrees Virgo is her second house. The second house is your possessions. It's what you own. Yeah, it's also, what is it? Let me think. It's your self-worth. It's your values. It's your finances. So her finances were literally made in being of service to others. And she was very practical with her money, I'm sure. Very practical with her values. She just wanted to do research. She just wanted to know the truth. She just wanted to value things where they are. Let me look up more about the second house just so I can tell you. This is all zoomed in. Okay, so it's about child and nuclear family, food and support, money and personal finances. So her money, she was very practical. She made her money through being of service to other people. And her self-worth, she might have had a low self-worth because Virgo's very, very critical, okay? It just is. So she may not have felt like, and that's why she probably put her stuff to the side when she was, while her kids were young, because her self-worth was kind of iffy on it. Like, I don't know if I should do this whole spiritual thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then she did it, and it increased her self-worth because she was finding out facts and stuff and being of service to others spiritually. And that gave her self-worth because she was able to do something and improve her intuition to help others and improve her self-esteem because she was doing what she loved. And moving on to the third house, which is also empty in Libra. See how that connects. And it is in 22 degrees Libra. That is so close to my rising. Oh my God. Okay, so her third house in Libra. So what is the third house about? It's about our communication. It's about our siblings. It's about where we live in like a small town. It's about roommates. It's also, let me get third house traits for you. It's about how we communicate. It's about how we learn in school. Third house traits. Let's see if we got any third house traits. We got the second house. Why didn't we get the third house traits? Okay, so it's self-efforts and promotion, writing. It's her books, her being an author, skills and talents, siblings, neighbors, everyday activity, and survival. I don't really think it's so much survival. I think it's just what you do. But if we look at her chart, it's in Libra. So she was meant to express herself with Venus. So we look through here. That's the door. Sorry, guys. My sister's being very loud. Libra, we look to Venus because there's no planets in this third house. Libra rules Venus, the planet of love. So her communication, right, comes through doing things artistically, what she loves. Her skills and talents come from what she loves. Her self-effort and promotion comes from what she loves. So we see here that her Venus is actually in Pisces at the 17th degree of Libra. So what does she love? She loves spirituality because Pisces, we look at Pisces and we're like, okay, where's Neptune? Right here, she loves leading the spiritual community, right? That's her love, that's her communication. Her love is also through writing spiritual books because the 17th degree, let me share my screen again with the degrees on it this time instead of saying, oh, look at the degrees, guys, and then I never show it to you. Leo, it's the 17th degree of Leo. Oh my God. It's not Libra, it's Leo. So her love comes from, let me do a double take on that. Oh my gosh. It is 17 degrees. Having a Leo degree is actually one of the best things because it can really boost your self-esteem. Her self-esteem might be boosted when she writes and when she communicates to people. It makes her feel like she has the center of attention on her. It makes her feel like a queen. It makes her feel like a real guru. It's what she really has a strong love for love, especially spirituality, because it's in the Leo degree. It's what makes her proud. It's what makes her feel masculine a little bit, probably because it's about fathership. It gives her power. Being in power, her spirituality is her top value. It's her top value. And it makes her feel good because she can really show you what she's good at because she has that power. Oh my gosh, it just really brings her joy and optimism. And it's like a gift. It's a gift, guys. It's her spiritual gift is how she is. So when we look at that 17 degrees Venus in Pisces, we know that spirituality, that being of service, that using her intuition, that putting people under hypnosis and finding out more about themselves and questioning the world brings her joy. And with the third house, because it's in Libra, it also shows that she does that through her writing by making a gift. Because if you don't know, Leo rules children. And what is a child, right? A child is literally anything that you give birth to. It doesn't have to be literal, guys. It can literally be like her writing, her spiritual techniques. But her children give her joy as well, is what I'm getting here. And they make her, she always talks about them. And as we see here, there's Julia, her daughter, looks so like her. And she's also helping her out with that. Let me see what else I'm getting with the third house. Her everyday activities are basically things where she can relax and feel like a queen because Pisces is relaxation. And Leo, degree of the 17th degree, let me see if there's anything else on that 17th degree that I can show you. Down here, if it's like a special degree, I don't think it is. It's not, but it makes her popular. What she loves makes her popular because it's under the Leo degree. Okay, it's under that. So yeah, let's move on to the fourth house, which we call down here the IC, and it is in Scorpio. So unfortunately for her, her home life was probably a mess. And this is home life, this can either be your future home life, like with your family of your own, or it can also talk about the family that you live in yourself. So obviously she probably hasn't talked much about her family, but I kind of get the feeling that her parents split up. She had a rough childhood. We also have the 25th degree ruling here. And the 25th degree is the Aries degree, guys. So that means Aries is Mars, guys. So Aries means it's going to be a rough childhood. It's going to be a bunch of fighting. There's going to be, maybe her childhood was ruined by wars and stuff, or not even her childhood. Maybe, her family life was ruined by war because of her husband being disabled as a veteran, but also it could mean that her parents were in the military. It could mean that her parents were engineers and stuff, things like that. But I feel like because of Scorpio, it was just so intense. We can even look here at Scorpio. All the definitions of the other signs are mostly positive. You see these ones and it's really scary. I believe that it was so rough that it always was changing too. Maybe her parents constantly had to change jobs, I feel like, or because Scorpios change, or, things like that. Yeah, it was just very violent because Aries is violence. It's like war. So I believe she had a very violent childhood. I'm yawning, so I think it's true. We could even look to Pluto because that's a sign Virgo. Scorpio rules. And her Pluto is literally in Cancer, which is the family, in the 18th degree of Scorpio, which is actually one of the most scariest degrees ever to have in a birth chart. It's actually 18th degree of Virgo, but let me show you why it is a scary degree to have in your birth chart. Sorry, guys, I thought this was on for you. The 18th degree is the diabolical with most adverse influences. And if we know what that means, okay, we look up diabolical, okay? Diabolical is like a devilish childhood. I believe her family split up. I believe it was due to like maybe drugs and alcohol, maybe even someone just coming in, maybe due to a curse. I don't know, but I'm just assuming that's what it could be. I don't need the third house anymore. Her family dynamic was changing, and it was in the 11th house, which the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So literally, it was like divorces. I don't know where that guy was. It's like divorces. It's like change. I bet it was really tough for her family. And I can just see it. Maybe there was like, because it's Pluto and Scorpio, maybe there was rape. I don't know. It's because it's sexual, because Scorpio is kind of sexual. You kind of know. I don't know. But it's really sad. I just have to talk about it for a minute and I'll come back to it. But that's her 4th house. And her 5th house, I think it skips over. Let me see. Her 5th house is Sagittarius at 29 degrees. This is key. 29 degrees is one of the big degrees. It's the Leo degree. It's the degree of change. I don't know what's happening. Okay, don't do that, guys. It's the degree of change. It's the degree of fate. It's what you're most experienced in. So it's what you become most popular for. So if you hear like, oh, hold on, let me collect my thoughts. Let me finish off what I was going to say first. So with the 29th degree for her, it means she has the most experience in spirituality. Because why? Sagittarius rules Jupiter, and Jupiter, is spirituality. So she has the most experience in spirituality, and you can see that in the 4th house, which is also the 5th house, also the home. It's also the fun. She has fun with spirituality. It is her child because it's ruled by Leo, because it goes Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo as the 5th. Okay? As the 5th. So for her child, her optimism, her joy, spirituality, that's what brings her fun. When she goes traveling overseas, when she's talking to people on her radio overseas, it brings her joy because she's doing what she loves. She's spreading the word throughout all these different lands. And her conferences bring her fun and joy where she can just talk and talk and talk. But we also have we have Saturn in Capricorn. And this is key, okay? Saturn's going to limit how much fun she can have because Saturn's like your work. But also Saturn can be commitments. It can be karma as well. So her karma is through her work. It's through her work, straight up. At the 23 degree of Aquarius. Aquarius is like astrology. It's about being unique and different. Let me share my screen again and look at the 23rd degree for you guys. It's about doing something new. Yes, it's about doing something that's, you know, a bit foreign to people. It's about the future, right? It's all modern stuff, all modern stuff. I know there's a lot of other ones. Taking things to new heights. So go back here, okay? And we see that she's got 29 degrees with Saturn. So her karma, okay, was to bring something new into the spiritual community through her work, because Capricorn is her Saturn, and you look for Saturn, it's in the place that it's ruling. She has a nice Saturn, by the way, because it's in its home sign, so her drive to work is very much there, and very much something she's used to, something that she's like, yeah, like this is me, you know, I'm all right with this. I'm all right with working with other people, networking overseas for fun. That's great, you know. And her work drive, like I said, is there. It's not going away or anything like that. So yeah, she's very happy with her work, and she's willing to do something new and spiritual. Okay, she has experience in spirituality and bring her work into the spiritual community, to the service of the world, because Aquarius is everybody. That's not you. So, because, you know, think about this. Leo is like me, me, me. Aquarius is like you, 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 you. Okay, so it's like everyone else in the world. And then we have her 6th house, which actually hits Aquarius. But before I get into that, I noticed she has an interception. And why do I say that? Because, as you can see here, she has double Virgo and Pisces, but we're missing, let me think here. We're missing Capricorn and Cancer. And when you're missing a planet, that is very significant, because it's the energy you need. And if you have too much of another in your chart, it means you have too much of that energy, and it's taking up your attention. So with her having her 1st and 2nd house in Virgo, let me show you this. With her having her 1st and 2nd house in Virgo, see, the 1st and the 2nd here is in Virgo. Let me show you again. So we have the 1st, see this line is hitting Virgo, and then this line is also hitting Virgo. It's the 2nd, it's connected to the 2nd house. Those two lines mean that her self-worth and her appearance, she's very critical about. There's no balance. You would think her 2nd house would be Libra, but it's not, it's the 3rd. So, because there's interception. And then you have, you know, Neptune there. But her 8th and 7th house are both ruled by Pisces, which is the polar opposite of Virgo. Let me point that out to you. It's so hard to get these up sometimes, the markers, so I'm trying very hard to just use the spotlight. There's the 7th. This is the DC. It's 0 degrees. Pisces, the exact opposite. And then you have the 8th house line, which is hitting right here, in Pisces as well. So what does that mean to have the 8th house in Pisces and the 7th house? So her relationships and her intimacy and her privacy, okay, those both, you know, are very hidden from the world. They're very much in her imagination. They're very much her escape. So there's no balance. You think the 8th house would immediately be Aries, but it's not, because she has an interception. Okay, so let me explain the interception more. So she has a 1st and 2nd and 7th and 8th house interception. What does that mean? So Let's talk about the planet she's lacking first. So Cancer and Capricorn. You would think her 5th house would go into Cancer, but it actually is 29 degrees Sagittarius, as you can see here, and as you can see right here. See, it's only 29 degrees. See how it just barely hits that line to be 0 degrees Capricorn, but it's not 0. Okay, so it's skipped. See how it's kind of just in the middle here, in between. It's sandwiched between Sagittarius and Aquarius. This line should be hitting Capricorn, but it doesn't. Does that mean she's messed up? Absolutely not. She's still a great guru, as you can see, and as she's always been remembered. But what does it mean to have that interception with Capricorn, missing Capricorn? Well, it can mean that she's lacking in her Saturn ways from being a realist, from, questioning everything. She does question everything. She has questioned everything, I should say, because she's not in the physical. But it's saying to actually have that Saturn energy, to be like in the world and be like not so spiritual, is really, really hard for her, especially with that double Pisces, right? It's hard for her to not be spiritual. It's hard for her to just be like the real world, because Saturn is like being real versus Neptune, where it's like, in her work, it was really hard for her to focus on her work, right? But she finally did it. You can overcome interceptions, guys. And then her other interception is in Cancer. It's polar opposite, Capricorn and Cancer. If one's intercepted, the opposite will be intercepted as well. So there's Cancer, as you can see. This is 29 degrees Gemini. And then there's Cancer sandwiched between Gemini and Leo. Okay, so what does it mean to have an interception with Cancer? Cancer's the family, the home, your emotional state. You would look toward the moon. So to look for her, how her interception is affecting her, you would look for her moon sign, which is in 0 degrees Aries, which is her intuition. Okay, this 0 degrees Aries means she's a total and utter Aries moon, but it's in the 8th house. So her intuition's on point. It's something that she's always working on, and she's a leader, again, another leader in the spiritual community. So she had to go against her intuition. So this, again, between like her dream job versus real life, having those conflicts between the two. Do you want to impress the friends and family, or do something you really love? That is that interception for her. But now let's talk about the 6th house, okay? So the 6th house is just daily work. It's your routines, and it's in Aquarius, meaning she is going to do something, different all the time. It's at 1 degree Aquarius too. So she's going to be different in her routines, and she's going to be the first to do this. She's going to be the first to do that at work, And because there's no planets in the 6th house, you look at the zodiac sign, Aquarius, okay? And you look for what it rules. So we're looking for Uranus, and it's in Aries at 15 degrees. And as you can see here, this is a lot, so give me a minute or a few seconds. See how this is where it is for Uranus. See, it looks kind of weird and curvy. Look right here, okay? Her north node is literally conjuncted, meaning it's pretty much the same. They only have 1 degree difference, okay? They're pretty much the same. What does that mean for her 6th house? It means the way she has routines are always changing, and it's a part of her destiny to change her routines, be the first to do this, the first to do that. Aquarius is also very kind of spiritual. It's more about the stars, right? It's about finding out about things that are weird, aliens, right? Uranus as well, aliens, right? Finding out more about that was a part of her routine. And I'm also going to look up 6th house traits, just so I can not just say, oh, her routine. 6th house traits. I literally feel her with me, guys. 6th house traits. Hold on. 6th house traits. Maybe it will bring it up. Fitness, pets, organization, her services, her services. Oh, she had to be the first person to change the spiritual community and give her services to others. She had to be the first to do it, because we have the 1 degree Aquarius to do something in the spiritual community. She had to be the first to find out about aliens, the first to find out about channeling information. Because we also, if you don't know, I believe, yes. So heights, the sky, you know, Aquarius is the sky. It's like past lives, about the universe, right? I always associate Aquarius with the universe. I don't know if you would either, but she was to help find out more about the universe. It's in her destiny to do it. Okay. She's supposed to. Now let's move on to her 7th house of relationships and things like that. So her 7th house is like her business style, her sharing, her shadow side. It's in Pisces at 0 degrees. So it's straight up Pisces. Her shadow side is kind of a dreamer. You know, she's very, very, very spiritual. So she's going to have all this energy focused on her intuition. And we have Venus here in Pisces, which is actually exalted. Go, Dolores. So Pisces, Venus in Pisces is great to have, which means the way she loves people, you know, it's exalted. Like Venus is like your self-worth. It's about spreading love to others and joy and things like that. But if we look at like, hold on, let me look up Pisces Venus. Okay, Pisces Venus. You know, Venus loves love, and she loves sharing things like that. She, you know, she's very playful. She's very exciting. Her love life is always elevated, you know. Her relationships are always going to new heights, and especially spiritually, right? Let's see what else we got. Again, she also with Venus is how you heal others. So with her in the 7th house, Venus exalted in the 7th house. That is like the best freaking placement in 17 degrees. Like her relationships are through the roof. Okay. When she meets people she loves, like anybody, and she like appreciates them, she will give them the world. She will give them so much joy. It'll give her so much joy. She'll, you know, be very popular with that. I just love that placement so much because it's such a lucky ass placement. You know, she's very forgiving, very easy to appreciate. I mean, look at her. She's very forgiving, and I just really appreciate her. But she knew what she was doing in the spiritual community 100%. 100%. No doubt in my mind about that. I just really want to. Oh, that's so pretty. That's so that aesthetic. But you know what I mean. Pisces Venus. It's an exalted Venus sign, meaning that is, when it comes to love, it's a bit easy. But also, when it comes to Pisces Venus, it's about spirituality. You love spirituality. You love things like that. I think I covered that one. But let me see what else I got for that. Her shadow side now is going to be kind of toxic, not going to lie. She might be a bit cold towards herself. She might like just use spirituality as an escape, things like that. She might accidentally drink too much. I don't know. But Pisces, you know, you got to think of Neptune traits. And sometimes being too spiritual can be a problem. I never said it was. I said it can be a problem. Okay. So let me move this. It just looks like, I swear I'm wearing something, guys. Hold on with my forehead. Okay. Okay. But moving on from her 7th house. What she loves. Oh, her favorite books and movies are very much spiritual, very much popular spiritual things. Okay, so now the 8th house. My favorite, because I have an 8th house stellium. So I can explain this one very, very well. So 8th house, if you didn't know, very spiritual, very, very spiritual. In fact, I believe she's water dominant. I'm not going to lie. Let me see what it says here. Let me see. It doesn't really say if she's any dominant. They're very balanced. Okay. Anyway. Also, I believe with the Saturn and this in Capricorn, meaning she has good karma because it's back in the sign of karma. So she's like slowly like returning from it and things like that. I believe that 100%. But anyway, so let's talk about her 8th house moon. So it's at 0 degrees. So again, it's like her specialty is using herself because Aries is the self, right? And being a leader in the spiritual community again, because moon is the intuition, right? Right, yes. And then we also have Neptune. No, I'm sorry, Neptune's on the rising. We have the North Node and Uranus in the 8th house. They're conjunct because they're literally at the same degree. I just pointed out earlier. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? So again, we think of Aries, it's the leader. I always think of it as a leader, so it's always easy to know. It's about to be the first at something. So she was the first to discover new things because Uranus is like changes. It's like curveballs. And it's conjunct the North Node, meaning everything in her destiny has to be like things she tries that are new, even if she's like, no, I can't do that. Eccentric things, eccentricness. Yes, yes. So her being in the spiritual community was a blessing because the 8th house is also karma. Her karma here was to use her intuition. She might have karma from her mother because the moon is the mom. But the North Node being in the 8th house is like you're meant to share this with others because the 8th house is literally the house of other people. It's change. So literally with Uranus there, it's like you're going to change, and you're going to change. And you're like, I don't want to. But you have to. So it's also about sex and stuff like that, which I don't really want to get into because she's like older and she's not here anymore and it's kind of weird. But it is about being mysterious. It's about taboo things. She was literally supposed to talk about taboo subjects that were eccentric, right? And use her intuition in that kind of way. And she did, especially when you challenge like Christianity, like what the fuck? Like that's her. Okay? That's her. And yeah, that's all I'm getting for that. But then we have her sun in Aries as well, but this time it's in the 9th house. So what does that mean? So the 9th house is the house of higher education. She pursued her own dreams, man. But the sun is your ego. It's what makes you feel good at 24 degrees Pisces. So there's that spirituality again. She's so Neptunian. It's not even funny. I swear she was so spiritual. She was meant to be spiritual and it came true. So her ego is, her sun is exalted because Aries is like exalted for your sun. So social butterfly, you know it. She talks and talks for freaking ever and I will listen to every second of it because she's so entertaining. Her ego is also the sun, willpower. But with her sun being just shy of the 9th house, into the 9th house, this makes her very, very communicative when it comes to spiritual stuff because the 9th house is ruled by foreign things, spirituality, higher education. And when I mean higher education, I'm not talking about college or university in this case. I'm talking about spiritual education. Because with her, you're going to get spiritual education, spiritually educated, right? So that's why when her ego's there, it's incredible. She will take in so much knowledge. Now, because it's so hard for me to remember this stuff, I'm going to look up Sun and 9th house. Just to make sure I'm getting everything, because it's different from the 8th house, I know. Growing as a person. No, that's not. Well, this is what I'm doing next. Okay, this is how you have your opinions. So strong opinions about religion, philosophy, right? She was very philosophical. She very much challenged the norm and the social status quo. So with her sun being in Aries, she's like, I'm going to be the first person at 24 degrees in the spiritual community to question Christianity, to question what we've always known. Because guess what? I have a new system that I'm looking at, and it's the truth. Literally, the ninth house is the truth. It's Jupiter, guys. Moving on to her Neptune and I keep saying that, her Mercury conjunct Chiron. So Mercury conjunct Chiron, let me show you this really quick. As you can see here, they're both pretty close to each other. There's only a 5-degree orb because, 17 minus 12 is 5. They're so close, right? What does that mean? So Mercury is in the ninth house. This is why I said I was saving it. So it says your eternal quest for knowledge drives you. You can't help but to be free. Oh my gosh, her ego is all about freedom as well. But you can't help but to be free and help others. So Chiron is, let me just tell you this. It's the one that looks like a key. Chiron is the healing or the healed wounder or the wounded healer. The wounded healer, yes. So she heals people through communicating to them, relaxing them on the couch, relaxing them, because Taurus is Venus, right? It's about being relaxed, having pleasure. So relaxing people, okay, listening to what they have to say, and getting higher freaking knowledge for them. And that's her job. And it's literally at 25 degrees, which is about being the first. I love Dolores Cannon so much. I can't believe I'm doing this for her. But yeah, like Chiron, is like healing emotional wounds through communicating to them. She would talk to them and talk them through the hypnosis, and ninth house is spiritual, higher education, higher knowledge. She's channeling knowledge. And now let's move on to the midheaven at 25 degrees, which I just talked about was her being the first in her field to provide something for the people, okay? To provide. And Taurus midheaven, they are hard workers. They are well respected. They're very humble in their work, and they value their work. It's theirs. It gives them pleasure. It's what they love to do. And she's the first at doing what she loves. My heart chakra, this is my rose quartz, and it's like glowing. Okay, so let's move on to her 10th house in, we have Gemini here. So her 10th house, again, I talked about, but she has a 29 degree 11th house in Gemini. So Gemini, we look to Mercury, which I just talked about. So the 11th house is your networking, how you help others. The 11th house is literally the community, the world, and she helps the world, people in general, by using her career. Yeah, by, like I just said earlier, using her channeling skills, her communicative skills to help people get into a trance, relaxed, because her Mercury's at 12 degrees Pisces. So there you go. And now we have her 12th house in Leo, but let me talk about what's in her 11th house that didn't get shared. So if you look here, so I'm scrolling, you look at the 11th house here, and you'll see that there's no mention of Cancer either. Even though her Jupiter and Pluto are both in Cancer, they're still her 11th house. And her 11th house is on literally the brink of Gemini. So, I mean, it's literally that close to being in Cancer. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to talk about it. So that means her family dynamic, because with the interception here, that's what her power is. Her transformative family and her Jupiter, which is at 12 degrees Cancer, just like mine, not trying to flex or anything. But her Jupiter, right, is also freaking exalted. It's exalted. So what does this say about her? So at 12 degrees. So this is also what gives her very much wealth, right? An enormous wealth and buried treasure. You know, what makes her money is her spiritual job. Her helping others spiritually gives her wealth, gives her knowledge. Cancer Jupiter is very, very, very optimistic. They see the world as a light. I promise you, I have this exact placement as her. And I always feel it when she's so excited and talking about things she loves spiritually, because it's like the same vibe. You have to let me know, guys, if like someone that's like famous or someone you know in general has the exact same like planetary placement, like having like the same Jupiter sign and stuff, and seeing if you can feel the same from it because you have the exact same thing. But with her Jupiter in Cancer at 12 degrees in the 11th house, she was meant to help people spiritually. That's Pisces, right? 12th degree. Jupiter is spiritual again. She's helped people that are lost, because Pisces is also lost spiritually. And Cancer is by using the intuition, the moon, by being nurturing of their soul. And we have Pluto there, which is also about change and transformation and death. So it's conjunct Pluto, it's conjunct Jupiter. So by having a spiritual change, she was able to impact people by changing spirituality. Yes. Oh my gosh. By changing spirituality, she impacted a ton of people, everyone in the world, globally. Now let's move on to her Mars in the 12th house. This is all like so intuitive. Like, and I'll explain why after I finish this. So her 12th house is in Leo, and it's at 1 degree Leo, and it has her Leo Mars at 4 degrees. Again, it's like a water sign degree. So in the 12th house, her drive, her inspiration is all to spirituality. And the sun is the ego, right? Leo's the sun, which is the ego. You go back to her sun sign, which is in Aries at 24 degrees. Again, more spirituality, more of it. So again, I'm here to say that her focus on life was to be focused on spirituality, was to get higher knowledge. That is what drives her and makes her feel good, is whenever she, you know, follows what she wants to do and leads the way, because Leo is a leader too. And that's her chart. Now, let me explain to you one of the coolest things. So in Dolores's chart, I noticed that she has so much water energy, even though it may not seem like it. And here's why. First, she has Neptune, you know, on her ascendant. Again, okay. She has her Pluto and her Jupiter and her Mars all in water sign degrees. Cancer is the 4th sign. That is a water sign. That's her Mars. Pluto is in a water sign, Cancer, and so is Jupiter. But Pluto is at 18 degrees, which is Scorpio degree, or associated with, I don't think it's Scorpio degree actually, but it's in Cancer. And then Jupiter is in Cancer at the Pisces degree. Both were water signs. Her Mercury's at 12 degrees, it's Pisces degree. Her Sun's at a Pisces degree, 24 degrees. And her Venus is at a Pisces, is in Pisces. I mean, and her IC is in a water sign, it's Scorpio. So she was meant to use her intuition and her spiritual gifts to help people out emotionally, and she did through her therapy. Therapy literally is meant to help people out emotionally. Let me see if I get any more traits from this website. Yes, yes, yes. I think we're good. I think we're good. So it does say that her ascendant is in most of the aspects, which means literally her image, right? She was meant to be famous and popular, and her image really, her self-esteem really helped her in life, is really what her main focus was. So yeah. And what I also love is in astrology, you can tell when you can see the lessons someone came in to learn, and you can see right off the bat that Dolores came in for all the spiritual lessons, because she's got like that 8th house, the Jupiter 9th house, And she has like a 12th house and then a bunch of Cancer, all the water. So you literally see that she has more empty houses. Actually, let me count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, so she has 7 of them filled of the 12. Usually if you have empty houses, it means the karma's clear. But I mean, hey, I love seeing her chart. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. And Dolores Cannon, thank you for joining me as well spiritually. Mwah. Bye, guys.